and salutations. It is this episode number 81. Is that right, Derek?
81.
Torrey Holt?
You're
Tim
biased. You're biased from your St. Louis days.
Tim Brown?
Pick a receiver, really.
Roy Green?
I had Terrell Owens. Art
Terrell
Monk
Owens? Art Monk
was another great one. Randy Moss wore 81 with the Patriots when he had that record-setting season, 25 tuds.
Touchdowns, yeah.
Yeah, which I don't think has been broken since.
Or 1981, the Indiana Hoosiers at 26-9, defeating North Carolina 63-50 to win the national championship. Whichever way you want to slice 81, it is episode number 81 here on Query and Schultz. And my apologies to the fine sponsors that we have, that I'm wearing the hat of a restaurant that is not one of our sponsors. That's because, Derek, I was just in Los Angeles for the Long Beach IndyCar race, came back on a red eye, came straight here to see you because I missed you so much. And I went to El Coyote, and I just bought the hat to wear on the plane to pull down over my eyes, and now my hair's messed up.
It's been a great day because we got to carpool together, just two best buds, talking sports, talking life, jamming to some fish. Yeah. It's good background noise for while we're talking.
Horrible. Well, first off, there wasn't any conversation going on. And except for that
Well, I had a lot to say.
Every 8 minutes or so, you would just go, man, toaster, and whatever lame, ridiculous lyrics
you're thinking of You Enjoy Myself, which is man, God, and then there's a bleep word in there. When I said with, not with hoagies and hops, but like a curse word. Okay. But it's the S word, S-H.
By the way, I'd like to again thank the fabulous folks at Lou Malnati's. I love the look of this can right here. Tomatoes. I mean, deep dish pizza that people have been craving. People would like mail order these from Chicago to Indianapolis. No need to do that anymore, Derek. Then go right there and brought them.
Yeah, that's actually how I first experienced Lou's was
Dave
our old boss. Well, Dave did too, but even before that, Rob Cressman, our old boss, got us Taste of Chicago gift cards, and I got mail order Lou's. You almost broke my glasses with that, and it was delicious, and I've been hooked ever since then.
They are. It is fabulous.
Yeah, really, really good.
Not as good as the sound of hitting a styrofoam tomato against the side of Derek's head.
So thanks so much.
Still very, very good.
To Lou Malnati's for the studio help. Nice miss there. I did end up moving my head.
I was
just
trying to look straight ahead.
It's really easy to hit my head because it's very, very long here when it comes to that.
It's like Elaine.
Got a lot to get to today, including, mercifully, the end of the Pacers season. So, final mark, 25-57. They finished the year on a 10-game losing skid, only the fifth double-digit losing skid in the Pacers' history. All the other ones came back in the 80s.
The only thing that kept them from matching history in their losing skid was the end of the season.
But this was the best thing for them, honestly. And I know we sound like a broken record saying that over and over and over again, but they were going nowhere. Even before they made those trades, they were going nowhere, and they decided to tear it down, and I think it was the right thing to tear it down.
Derek, what's interesting is a broken record doesn't really sound at all. Because once the record breaks, it ain't going to play. Now, a scratched record, that should be
I think it just means that it just keeps going.
Well, but that happens when the record has a scratch in it. If it breaks, then the needle just stops and gives up.
Okay, for the 21st century generation, we'll say on repeat.
Okay.
Sounds like we're on repeat with this. But how about this for a stat, Jake? Do you want to guess how many players started a game for the Pacers this year?
Oh, man. Hold on. You ready?
No, don't try to list them all out. It's impossible. Like, I couldn't even.
18.
You're very, very close. But even that's low. Wow. 21 different players started a game. 28 different players wore a Pacers uniform in an NBA game this season, which is crazy to think. But it just shows how much of a roster churn that there was. So now we approach the offseason. They've got a 42% chance at a top 4 pick and a better, I think it's like 11.5% chance, I think, at number 1 when you slot in at number 5. They've never picked number 1. They picked number 2 3 times, and you remember all 3 of those 2 picks, I bet. Pacers number 2 overall picks.
Okay, Steve Stepanovich.
Yep, that's the first one, 83.
With the second pick in the 1985 NBA draft, the Indiana Pacers select Wayman Tisdale from the University of Oklahoma and Rick Smits.
Yep. All 3 of those guys, I know Steepo.
Serviceable, good players.
You know, White Castle and some of the stuff that he ran into, but ended up having a nice NBA career. Rick Smits was an all-star at one point. And Wayman Tisdale was not a like a superstar level player, but a very good player.
He was.
For a long time, even though that mostly was in Sacramento.
But I think that Tisdale, the challenge was, you're coming off of like the lottery, the Patrick Ewing frozen envelope, and it was like, oh, we didn't get Patrick Ewing, but man, we got Wayman Tisdale, 3-time All-American, big-time scorer, big $1 million grin, Olympian, and he came here, and he was a nice player.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of even like a comp for Wayman Tisdale. Because most of those guys who were like great college players either ended up being really good or really bad, and there's not really an in-between. Like Tisdale was a really good to very good player.
He was J.R. Reed.
J.R. Reed was never a very good player, though.
I think J.R. Reed was a fine NBA player.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, Tyler Hansbrough was never like a really good player.
He was better than Tyler Hansbrough.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So I can't, I'm trying to think of somebody. Like, how many All-Star games did Wayman Tisdale make? 3 or 4?
I don't know that he ever did. J.R. Reed in his career, by the way.
Oh, Wayman Tisdale. He was an NBA Jam, so he had to have made an All-Star game.
Okay, well, that's the creme de la creme. J.R. Reed's NBA career, let's see.
Oh, God, you're right. Wayman Tisdale never made an All-Star game.
What do you know? The guy that actually lived here
Wow.
back then and watched him.
No, I didn't mean as a Pacer. I assumed because he was a fairly, I guess it's the Sacramento Kings, so somebody had to be a prominent King. But he was a fairly prominent player, I felt like, on the Kings.
Well, you're right about J.R. Reed, though. He never averaged more than 11 a game.
I mean, look at these years in Sacramento. Now, these were all garbage teams, but 20 points a game in 89, 22 and 90, 20 and 91, 16, 16, 16, 17, 16. Like, Tisdale consistently was a good
solid player.
Danny
right.
Granger?
No, Granger was more of an outside player.
No, I'm not saying like a direct comparison. I'm just saying whose career would you compare it to, like, overall? Like a good player but never a superstar.
Well, Granger has the third highest single season scoring average in Pacers history.
Yeah, but he has that 1 year.
But he was hurt.
Like, Granger was a All-Star once. I guess Tisdale never was, so Granger at least has that over him. I guess I had just assumed
Wayman
that Tisdale made a couple
Thaddeus
All-Star
Young.
games. Okay, fine. Sorry, I didn't expect to spend 10 minutes on Wayman Tisdale today. But I think what you worry about here, Jake,
the Pacers go number 2, they can draft the second coming of Rick Smits, Chet Holmgren.
Oh, God. I really don't want it to be that. I'm not worried about, honestly, who they get. I think the guys at the top, to me, are fairly interchangeable. Like, I don't think there's a big difference between Ivy, Smith, Bentero, whoever it is. I don't think there's a whole ton of a difference.
What about Keegan Murray?
Yeah. I think Murray could end up – I think there's just as good of a chance that Murray ends up being a great player as Ivy does. Don't you?
I think Murray's going to be a bust.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Coming out of Iowa. Late developer.
So just because he came out of a school, you say that he's not going to be any good?
No, I mean, I'm just saying he seems like a late bloomer who was the beneficiary of an offense run through him. Great player, don't get me wrong.
I mean, no Oregon quarterbacks were any good, and then Herbert came along, and now he's a star.
He is
right?
pretty good.
So I
There's
think
always
that
so
stuff
many
always
bucks
can
to trade.
change. But I just what I'm worried about here, Jake, is that as much as we're talking about, okay, this was the right thing, Pacers are moving forward, I'm excited about it. Is there concern at all that you bottom out here, and then 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the Pacers are Orlando, the Pacers are Charlotte, where you're always having this conversation, Sacramento, over and over and over again. You tear it down, you try to build it up, you fail. You tear it down, you try to build it up, you fail.
Here's the thing, Derek. I think there are 2 things that save the Pacers from doing that, from that happening. And it may. But the first being that you do have some competency within the front office. I mean, Kevin Pritchard has run organizations. He's been aggressive in trades. He ran Portland. He still has a couple of guys that he can lean on that kind of advise that if worse came to worse could kind of step in and help out. I think Herb Simon knows that this is a basketball community and therefore wants to put a team out there that people can, playoff level team. Third, they do have some decent facilities to try to get maybe not the top line free agents, but there are guys that are going to want to go play there. So that helps a little bit. And then fourth is they got a hit on him, don't get me wrong, but they theoretically, depending on what happens with Cleveland here, but they could end up with 3 of the top 30 picks in the draft, and they have good young pieces. Halliburton is a good young piece. You're going to laugh when Isaiah Jackson, I think, is a really good young piece.
Why would I laugh about that?
Well, the next one I'm going to say, not as a starter by any stretch, but a guy in your rotation. O'Shea Brissett, I think, has shown that he can be a rotational guy.
Yeah, rotational guy, fine.
Malcolm Brogdon, if you keep him around. Miles Turner is still young. Then you add in 3 players that are going to be first-round picks, basically. You hit on 2 of them, let's say. I mean, you can have a Phoenix-level turnaround pretty quickly just based on the talent you can bring in.
You still have to hope, though, that Cleveland makes the playoffs because then you get that pick. They in the playoff field, not the play-in. They're in the play-in, but they're the 7, right? So all they have to do is win. They have 2 bites at the apple.
Cleveland has to get to a playoff series.
Cleveland has to win one of the play-in tournament games.
Correct.
So they have 2 bites at the apple. If they do that, then the pick conveys to the Pacers, and they end up picking 17th, 18th, whatever that ends up being.
This kind of looks like an apple, doesn't it?
The Houston pick is 32, I think, with where they sit today. So it'll be dependent on where that is, but that's going to be somewhere in the top 35. The problem with the Phoenix comparison, Jake, is that they don't have a Devin Booker-like ready to take off right now guy.
A guy that can get you 45.
And Chris Paul. You know, there were a lot of things that kind of fell into place for Phoenix to become what they became. And that's what sucks about the NBA. So much of this is just luck and circumstance and timing. And, hey, guess what? We got Kawhi Leonard for 1 year. Hey, guess what? This skinny Greek kid that we drafted, nobody knows what his name is, turned out to be this all-world,
do you know I keep yawning?
All-time level player.
People have made note to me before when I'm fatigued that I keep yawning. And it's not necessarily because of your diction.
No, it can't be. It can't be because of me, because all of the content that I produce on this show is excellent.
Do you know what makes someone yawn?
Yeah, didn't we do this on a show? Guys,
scientifically fascinating.
Did we do this on a show? Rake is behind a big border, so I can't see him anymore, but I feel like we did this on a show. Like, why do you yawn?
Yeah.
I feel like we just did this on the show like 3 weeks ago.
What's your guess?
No, we already talked about it.
Are you sure?
It's something about, like, your body needs oxygen, so that's the way to get the oxygen.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
My muscles, they need oxygen. Okay. So therefore, did you see how much I just took in right then?
Yeah,
more than the average.
Great.
Because they're fatigued.
Kevin Pritchard will be entering year 6, so like Ballard, the leash has been pretty long, and I think Pritchard has run into a lot of bad luck. I don't want to just sit here and make excuses for all the executives of the pro sports franchises in Indianapolis.
Right, I hear you.
I do think that so much of it is sometimes luck and timing and circumstance, and those guys haven't been real blessed in that category during their time here. But he's got to get this right. This is the chance to get this right and move the franchise
for
forward.
both of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
for Ballard too, and that's a conversation that I wasn't planning on talking Colts today, but we would. Obviously, that'll be a continuing conversation here.
No, you are right in the fact that for Kevin Pritchard, the time is now that he has to, I'm not going to say strike gold in the draft, but he's got to do well because he theoretically is going to have 3 of the top 30 picks, and that means you can't go out and risk a TJ Leaf. You can't go out and risk a Tyler Hansbrough. You've got Sean Williams, which I know wasn't his, right? Sean Williams.
No, that would have been Donnie still,
but,
I think.
It was Bird, I think. Bird's first one was
Sean
okay.
Williams. Okay.
But at any rate, you have to go out and you have to draft well, right? And to do that, to get yourself the core pieces to move forward, and then you kind of go from there and find out, maybe some free agents here and there that you can complement with. But you're not going to get main franchise players through free agency. You're just not.
No.
It's going to have to be. Did you see Victor Oladipo had 40 the other night?
No.
G League game, basically?
Yeah, I mean, I think these teams are playing out the string. The idea of an 82-game season in 2022 seems so ridiculous.
Yeah, you're not on board with that.
It's really stupid.
Are you on board with Easter? You like Easter?
Yeah.
Look at that. The chocolate Easter egg.
That's the Rocky Road egg, isn't it?
Rocky Road egg. Dark chocolate, caramel, marshmallow, roasted
Do you want
pecans, and
to
almonds.
Open that? We can. It's Easter week. I was saving it for Easter week, and I had to keep Jake from opening it.
Here's
on
the thing.
First
There's
week
so
of
many.
the run.
There's so many good things with the brand in here. I mean, how do I stop there? The truffle collection.
Our friends at DeBrand Fine Chocolates in Indianapolis, Lori and Bill and the rest of their crew,
and they are wonderful, by the way.
Great people. Mail-in orders, you got to get it, I think, today. So we're taping this right now on Monday or early this week. If you're going to do that, call the shop or go into the store. Fashion Mall, Keystone at the Crossing, DeBrand Fine Chocolates in Indianapolis. Let me get you that phone number.
Popcorn and mint chocolate tasting
317-669-0955. So call in that mail order.
Can you give that number again, please?
Or go in the store. 317-669-0955. Let's break open that Rocky Road egg. I'm serious. I know the wrapping's real nice. I actually feel bad eating the chocolates from DeBrand because the packaging is so nice.
It's spectacular. And here's the thing. Not just for Easter, Mother's Day as well, but anytime you've got to give a gift.
This is good too, though.
Whether it be, a loved one, just somebody you want to do something nice for, birthdays, DeBrand. Not only is DeBrand absolutely fantastic and beautiful, but the store itself up next to the Fashion Mall, right across from Saks. If you walk out of Saks, just to the east of it, you see DeBrand there next to the bookstore. It is, you walk in, and it's like stepping into yesteryear. Absolutely pristine. It's like being in New York City. Just the best. What are you doing?
Oh, my God, it's good. Milk chocolate bunny. You want an ear? I ripped off one of the ears. You want an ear? You want a foot? Oh, take the tail.
Is the foot good luck?
Tail's a good spot.
The tail's a good spot.
Rip that tail right off. There you go.
Derek, you got your
I've got the plastic right on it. I did not touch it with my fingers.
all over this thing.
I just washed my hands before the show.
This is disgusting. You got your little paws all over this thing.
Did you break out the Rocky Road egg? I told you to get that.
I gave you the egg.
No, you gave me the bunny.
Yeah, I gave you the egg.
Here we go. Look at this. I mean, it's got the bow and everything. Like, it's so nice. Like, I feel kind of bad opening. I definitely don't feel bad eating it. We'll just ignore those nutrition facts on the back of there.
You don't feel bad eating a bunny?
No. Look at this. Oh, man. It's got the marshmallow and everything. Should I try to attempt to eat this on the air? Oh, yeah. You want to try this one?
No, I'm okay, thank you.
Very, very good. DeBrand Fine Chocolates in Indianapolis.
No F-bombs you're going to drop about that?
Mother's Day, too. Don't forget, guys. Easter late this year, so bat. Easter into Mother's Day. That's a great chocolate holiday, too, for the ladies in your life, your wife, your mom, your sister, whatever else. We come back on the show. Trayce Jackson-Davis.
Oh, goodness. My goodness, look at this.
Hasn't quite made his NBA decision yet.
Look at this.
But is at least going to test the NBA waters. I know. Don't you feel bad, like, messing up that? You squirreled some of the other chocolates because I opened one of the other boxes and there were two of them were gone. Was it this one?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where they were empty. Yeah, look at this.
I don't know.
Look at this. This is supposed to be 4, guys. There is 1 chocolate left in here.
Weird.
I did not touch this one. I didn't touch it. I'm going to touch it now, but we'll talk to. Oh, my God, that's good. I don't want the jam-filled ones. Trayce Jackson-Davis, IU.
Don't talk with your mouth full.
NBA.
Have a little
What's
class.
the decision going to be? We'll get to our features. We still got a ton to get to. A lot to eat and drink here on episode 81. This is really go. Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Stick around.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching. Barn needs cleaning. Tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do. From Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Welcome back, Bailey & Wood. Schultz, ISC thanks for joining us so much on this gorgeous Monday,
Wouldn't that be
Tuesday,
thanks so
Wednesday,
much for joining us?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
You
Sunday.
said thanks for joining us
whenever
so
you're watching this
much.
show.
It would be thanks so much for joining
That's
us.
what I said. Thanks so much
No,
for joining us.
You said thanks for joining us so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that again. We'll get it in post. 3, 2, 1. We'll get back. It's Query and Schultz, presented by Bailey and Wood Financial Group. Thanks so much for being here with us today on this beautiful Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever it is. I'm Derek Schultz. Jay Query's over there. We've got our features to get to kick things off here, but wanted to thank our friends at Bailey and Wood Financial Group.
The best.
The presenting sponsors of this show, BAWFG.com, 855-350-HOME.
Dirk, you got to say the number slower. People they're saying, "Oh, I want to write down the
always
number."
do this whenever I have something to say. You always critique me.
I'm doing what's
Technically, I have more radio experience than you. Now, that may change here coming up because you're going to have this job probably longer than and I'm off the air right now. But technically, I have more radio experience than you.
I don't believe that to be accurate.
Yeah.
No.
You only had, 1 year at IBC, right?
2.
Okay, so you had 2 at IBC, and then you had 8.5, which I also had.
Right.
So I had, before that, 6 at XLW.
Right.
I was on the air for
Are
5.
you not counting WJEL, the Panther Sports Connection?
No, we're not counting your high school radio station.
No, wait a minute. Okay,
as
so hold on.
experience. So I had 5. Let's say 5 years of on-air experience. So I had 13.5. Can you meet 13.5?
Yeah, I can because I was doing the morning show.
Once a week IndyCar does not count.
Okay, I was doing the morning show on a 50,000-watt blowtorch WIBC for 2 years while you were peddling.
That was like
Chick-fil-A.
18 months.
You were selling chicken sandwiches to high school wrestling coaches.
On the radio.
Okay.
So it may have been a show from a booth on 135 in Greenwood, the Center Grove Sports Show, but I was on the radio.
Okay.
My mom listened.
You were sitting on the radio.
Well, I was sitting in the booth
Booster
eating
seat.
waffle fries
Right. Okay.
while on the radio. So I technically have more experience than you.
Bailey and Wood, by the way, no matter what part it is of Indiana, whether it's down on the south side where Derek first began or in the many areas in the donut counties in which you could have heard my voice on WIBC, Bailey and Wood has you covered if you want to move to any of them, right?
That's right. 13 Indiana branch locations, 5-star customer service. They're the best in the biz. So give Mike and his crew a call today, 855-350-HOME, BAWFG.com. Let's talk Trayce and Race, I guess. They're both, why not? Test the NBA waters. You have 1 year of eligibility left, might as well. Well, I guess technically they would have a COVID. Trayce would have a COVID year, right?
Correct.
So we technically have 2, but whatever. The eligibility thing is just bananas
Derek,
right now.
I think Trayce Jackson-Davis is a wonderful player. I think he's an outstanding college basketball player. I don't know that there is a definitive place for him. Now, Juwan Morgan just got a contract, a 2-year contract in the NBA. I mean, there can be a place for Trayce Jackson-Davis, but it's going to have to be – he may be one of those players that's better off going undrafted and being able to, as a free agent, pick his design location that best is suited for what it is that he brings to the table. But I don't know that he has the offensive versatility or lateral movement to be a big man in the NBA. Defensively, he's a good player, but what's he going to do against Joel Embiid? You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know that anybody does anything against Joel Embiid, but you get my point. I just feel like he's a tweener. I think in the end he ends up in Europe, and there's nothing wrong with that. He can make good money there. Now, he'll have some great NBA career, and people come back and be like, "You're an idiot. You didn't know what you're talking about." I'm just saying he is at best a fringe first round to early second player, and he finished the year strong, which is good. But I think when it's all said and done, he is a late second to undrafted player.
Yeah, and I'm not going to make Juwan Morgan out to be Jordan Hulls, but by the end of his career, he would at least attempt three-pointers occasionally, and he was like a 30% three-point shooter. But Jackson-Davis doesn't have that in his game at all.
Right.
And it's really hard. If you can't score outside of 8 feet, it's really hard to be an NBA player. So what I worry about with Jackson-Davis is that people are saying, well, he's not ready for the NBA. He's got to come back. What I'm worried about, Jake, is that Jackson-Davis just is who he is. Jackson-Davis could come back to Bloomington next year and his stock won't get any better.
Right.
I think he just might, if he wants to go pro.
And I know that, Derek,
go pro.
People get excited by the name, image, likeness thing. Well, at IU, he gets name, image, likeness. Look, he can go to Belgium, make $1 million a year. Croatia, make $1 million a year. I mean,
but at least that's a little bit of a pot sweetener.
Of course.
That
I get it.
Previous generations were not afforded when it comes to that. But I think ultimately he's going to come back based on his own words. He says he wants to go top 35, and it looks like there's no chance that that's going to happen. I mean, if he gets If he gets drafted, it'll probably be in the back half of the second, at least with where we sit today. I mean, he might have workouts and really wow everybody. I don't know. Guys shoot up the charts sometimes, but it just doesn't appear to me that Trayce Jackson-Davis would be a fringe first-round pick.
By the way, we're drinking the milk.
Mm-hmm.
You know that when I was in Los Angeles for the Long Beach race yesterday, we had every, whatever you want to call it, every intent on going to the grave of Louis Meyer, who's buried in Inglewood Cemetery right next to LAX. Louis Meyer was the guy who came up with, of course, the very first Indy 500 winner to drink buttermilk and launch the milk tradition. And I thought that they would be so proud of me at the American Dairy Association if I could lay a bottle of milk on Louis Meyer's gravesite. And lo and behold, yada, 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 we got a little late leaving the track, had to wait for a coworker, and we didn't get to the cemetery in time. Just thought I'd tell you that.
You went to a couple of different cemeteries, though, didn't you?
I did. I went to the Westwood. This is amazing, Derek. A couple of things that staggered me when I was in Los Angeles. This cemetery, Westwood Memorial Gardens, is the size of a football field, literally. And it's almost like just, what do you call it in like in an apartment building where there's the middle area with grass in it? Atrium? Courtyard? Yeah. It's like a courtyard surrounded by parking garages. Now, in 1950, it probably wasn't, right? But at any rate, it's this beautiful, literally, it's like the area of Midtown Carmel, right there where Sun King is.
I don't know that area.
Okay, well.
Where the Sun King is in Carmel? I know where
Yes,
that is. What did you call it?
Midtown Carmel.
Not familiar. Not familiar. I know the Sun King in Carmel, so you could just say Sun King in Carmel, and people know.
They call that
what you're talking
Midtown.
about.
Well, the kids are running around on the turf.
There's no such thing. The Midtown is down where I live. That's Indianapolis.
No, that's Indianapolis does not have a Midtown. They do. It's downtown.
Carmel's not even really big enough to have a Midtown.
I'm just telling you what they call it. But at any rate, this
I don't recognize
cemetery,
that one.
you go walking in. Now, you want to talk about a who's who? You ready? Jim Backus, Don Knotts, Farrah Fawcett, Rodney Dangerfield, Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, Ray Bradbury, Carol O'Connor.
Ray Bradbury?
Yeah, Fahrenheit 451. Betty Page, Natalie Wood.
Is that a band?
The little girl from Poltergeist. Tim Conway.
Curtis Conway played receiver for the Bears. He's still with us, though, right?
You should know Tim Conway every time you golf. I think you'd know all about it.
He won the Masters or something? He was an athlete?
Okay.
Like Ben Hogan, like that era?
Guy from Hogan's Heroes, also buried there. Thank you. Perfect. Frank Zappa, Roy Orbison. Did I mention Richard Dawson? Farrah Fawcett, Rodney Dangerfield.
Why do I know Richard Dawson?
Family Feud. Smoked cigarettes all the time, kissed everybody.
Oh, he was the host. Okay.
Marilyn Monroe.
I do know that one.
And Marilyn Monroe is encrypted next to Hugh Hefner.
Oh.
Hugh Hefner.
Was she? She was never in. Or no, she wasn't.
Listen to this.
Point,
So,
right? Okay.
so Marilyn Monroe, when she was Norma Jean Baker, took naked pictures for money. She did not have a lot of money. She was a struggling actress. She then became famous, and a guy named Hugh Hefner was going to launch a magazine called Playboy. And for $500, he bought the rights to these naked pictures of this, rising actress. He publishes them. She's mortified. She's livid. She's mortified. She's never met Hugh Hefner. She refuses to ever meet Hugh Hefner because of her angst over him publishing these photographs that catapulted his new publication. She dies, and Hugh Hefner buys the crypt. She's in a mausoleum. He buys the crypt next to her and says she's the ultimate blonde, the ultimate sex pot, the ultimate bombshell, and now she's going to ultimately be with me for the rest of her life. Nothing she can do about it.
Gross.
Little creepy.
Yeah.
Now,
I never knew any of that.
What's amazing to me is he bought the crypt in 1992. She died in 1962. The fact that no one over 30 years bought it is really weird to me.
Yeah.
But anyway,
he passed like 10 years ago or something.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
So we went to. I went to that cemetery. It was pretty amazing.
Do you have to go through like security? Like
you just walk right up.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Were there other people around?
There were like two other people that were doing the same. They had like a little map.
Gotcha.
You're always, you want to make sure that it's not somebody who's there visiting a loved one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before you go and ask for selfies and stuff.
That's right. So on your cemetery tour, you got blocked out of one cemetery because somebody was late, but you got to this cemetery.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1 for 2 on cemeteries.
Yeah, but we wanted to go, and I
weird at
thought
all.
the Dairy Association folks would have been thrilled for me leaving milk at Louis Meyer's grave.
Yeah.
But it's the thought that counts, right?
Actually, that would have been nice for you to do. Maybe the next trip to Long Beach, you can end up doing.
Yeah, next year, right?
Thanks to our friends at American Dairy Association
They're the best.
Indiana. Weird to think that the 500 is, 6 weeks away?
58 days. Who's counting?
It's late this year, right? It's like the 29th or 30th, I think. So maybe we're 7 weeks. 7 weeks from yesterday, I think, is what it is officially.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds right. Anyway, they bring us our ADAI big winner. And I'm actually going to keep it Indiana because I'm not sure if you saw the transfer news for women's basketball over the weekend, but you kind of called it for one of these. So
People who watch this show knew what was happening.
I don't know if we
Derek?
need to give credit to Jake's sources or whatever else, but Sydney Parrish, former Miss Basketball, ends up going from Oregon to
Number 8
IU.
recruit in the country in her senior year.
And 2 other players, experienced players, including one from the league, Minnesota and Providence, so a couple of other transfers. Sarah Scalia, who was an all-Big Ten player at Minnesota, second-team pick, and Providence forward Alyssa Geary. I hope I'm saying Geary right. 3 players that bring a mix of talent and experience to Terry Morin's Hoosiers. So how about Terry Morin, our winner of the week? Because instead of rebuilding, the IU women coming off back-to-back second weekend appearances in the NCAA tournament are going to be reloading.
Reloading indeed.
Impressive.
And I'll be curious to see what Parrish does there because, she went to Oregon. I think maybe she was a little homesick. I get it. Averaged 8 points a game. So
She had an injury, right?
I'm not sure if she was hurt or not. I mean, that may
I
be
thought
the
she
case.
did at some point.
Yeah. But, people think like, a 5-star recruit now in Indiana going to blossom. And she may. But she also might be just a really solid role player for him. You never know.
I wonder, and tell me if you ran into this, and this is a much different generation because, we're talking about 30 years ago, but there was probably something cool for you about choosing Kansas, right?
Of
Instead of
course.
saying,
Being
I'm going
different.
to IU, I'm going
You're
to
right.
Purdue.
No question.
And I do wonder sometimes if these kids see a school like Oregon is super cool and sexy, and it's really cool to say that you're going. Not that it's not cool to say
And
that you're
they had
gonna
a
go-
big-time women's program
yeah,
there.
to go to IU or to Purdue or whatever else. So I get that why kids sometimes choose that, but you do seem to see that sometimes where guys or gals choose kind of the far away sexy school, and
Did
then
you
they
leave
get there and they realize, hey, let's
Did you drop a
Go back
tomato
home.
on the ground?
No, that's the one that you threw at my face.
Where did you put it?
Oh, I put it back in there. Okay. Yeah, that's one of the ones that you threw at my face. So our winner of the week.
Oh, whoops. We got all kinds of problems. Sorry.
You see what you did?
I haven't slept.
Do you see this?
I haven't slept.
Well, good thing it's just milk. No big deal.
It's chocolate milk, Derek. What I just did was I spilled right there like enough.
I got to take all those shirts back to the house now and wash them and bring them back
They probably need to be
because
washed.
Jake doesn't have a washer or dryer in the
I
2-bedroom
think-
apartment where he
I think
lives
I got
alone.
some milk on the front of the set, too.
And now we got to get paper towels during the break. We have 90 seconds to clean this mess up,
Winners drink milk.
and it's because
Not
you're
Jake.
effing around.
What do you mean? I'm tired. I'm fatigued.
That's not an excuse. You
The
did this last week
dedication
when
I
you weren't
showed
fatigued.
to you. I was on a bird 4 hours ago trying to
It's
sleep
ridiculous.
on a plane.
We're going to talk Masters, Scotty Scheffler's win.
What are you doing?
We've got Love That Play. Do not throw that at me. Now I'm upset because there's product all over the table. The shirts are ruined.
What?
And now we got to get in here and clean all this up. And it's not going to be you.
Did you bring
I know that you're not going to be anything. Yes, I did bring sandwiches. I'm going to go get some when we come back. It's Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
It's not a huge mess. You missed some over here. You missed some over here. I didn't get anything anywhere.
Chateau was fixed. We still have the Chateau shirt. Thank God. Don't get anything on that.
What do you mean? We had a bit of a mishap. If you're just joining us, where have you been? My name is Jake Query. Derek Schultz is the other fellow that you hear and see occasionally who's cleaning now. We had a bit of a mishap. The great folks from the American Dairy Association of Indiana bring us milk each and every week for our Winners Drink Milk Winner of the Week. And, of course, as we talked about the fact that, there's as much milk if you drink chocolate milk after a workout as you get the vitamin A that you would get in spinach, you're getting the potassium that you would get in a banana, you're getting the protein that you could get within a hard-boiled egg, or you could just drink it right there in milk. And then Derek went nuts because we have tomatoes in here from Lou Malnati's, which is the best deep dish pizza you're going to find anywhere in really the Midwest. Derek went crazy, started throwing the tomatoes around, arms started flailing, knocked milk everywhere, been a total disaster, and now you've got it all cleaned up,
That's not what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
You were messing around.
I was not messing around.
Your arms were flailing around.
No,
Has
very
nothing
coordinated.
to do with me. And, when I reached out to Luz about doing this,
Right.
I wanted them to know that this was a professional show. We've been around for like over 10 years.
Right.
And we have people like viewers like you that are fans of the show, that watch the show, that tweet us, that whatever, watch on YouTube, the whole deal. And there's a legitimacy that is important for us to have on this show, like a trust factor.
Right.
I think you'd say with
Because
all
you
of
trust
our,
when you want a good pizza, you trust Lou Malnati.
Well, yes, but there's a trust factor that we're not just like children that are going to be do goo gaga, and throw stuff around and be idiots. Like we are smart journalists / entertainers / public figures / celebrities. Like that's how I would categorize.
I don't think you're.
That's how I would categorize us. And you doing this hurts the legitimacy of the show.
You dropped the tomato.
And I almost told Jennifer. Jennifer's super nice from Luz. Because we were asking about props to be here in the studio
one over there.
because it's going to be the Lou Malnati studio. And she said, hey, we have these tomatoes. Do you want us to bring the tomatoes? And I almost thought, you know what? That's probably not a good idea. I almost thought of saying that. But instead I said, yeah, sure. And I knew that you were going to mess around with those. So, of course, we get spilled milk everywhere. And it's just,
Well, Derek,
just a disaster.
don't cry over the spilled milk. Right?
4, or soon to be 4, 3 currently locations of Lou Malnati's in central Indiana. Carmel, Northwest Side 86th Street, my favorite, Dine-In, Broad Ripple, Midtown.
That's
Beautiful
a great
digs,
spot.
great patio. And then a 4th location coming up this summer of 2022 down in Greenwood. So they'll have all of the quadrants of the city.
People love it.
There'll be somebody there, and it
Love
really
it.
is delicious. I mean, we go back to our days with Rob Cressman, a native Chicagoan, our old boss, radio days, sent us Taste of Chicago gift cards, and I was like, I've always kind of wanted to try this Lou's. I've always been sort of a pizza snob about
Right.
East Coast, like New Haven, New York style pizza. I'm like, deep dish. I don't know if I even like it. And then I had Lou's, and I was hooked forever.
If you just had slightly bigger hands, you could have caught that milk.
You wanted me to stretch Armstrong over there and catch the milk that tipped over?
Like, look how easy that is for me to get to. It's not hard.
Like, you're a 50-year-old man. Do you know that? I think
49.
you still think of yourself as like being like 25 or something, where these shenanigans and hijinks and, whoa, it's just Jake being Jake. Like, you think that, like, it's actually kind of embarrassing that you still do that as a 50-year-old man.
Okay.
Sorry. And you screeched the whole show to a halt now because we were going to talk like Masters. We're going to talk all this other stuff. Thanks to Lou Malnati's of the studio sponsorship. And, of course, you see their graphic.
Here you go. Masters. You ready?
On that bottom there.
You ready for my Masters?
Yeah.
Okay. Tiger Woods started out looking like he was okay, but then we found out that his leg actually had to be put together because of, guess what? Something that was completely the fault of Tiger Woods. So in the end, he actually sucked in the last 3 days of the Masters. And as a result, some guy that used to play for Purdue, that was an unheralded center when he came in to play for Gene Cady and ended up being a Big Ten Player of the Year, Steve Scheffler, won the Masters.
Scotty Scheffler.
What's that?
You're mixing him up with, 1990 Big Ten Player of the Year, Steve Scheffler, who was a center.
No, Scotty Scheffler from the University of Texas, who's now been ranked number 1 in the world for a while and has really caught a hot streak here, did what we've seen guys do recently with the Masters, and that is you get out to that big lead going into it, and you get 3 to 5 strokes up, and you kind of
can start to play safe,
give yourself some cushion. Yeah,
my man has won 4 of the last 6 events. No, just. It's just a cool saying.
Okay.
Scheffler's won 4 of the last 6 events that he's entered. He has finished first or second in half of the last dozen events that he's played. You know how hard it is to finish first or second in one of these tournaments with all these guys in the field? I mean, it's incredible.
It's deep.
It's an incredible streak. And to now have, he kind of burst onto the scene late last year and then into the Ryder Cup performance. And now to earn this number 1 ranking and then start off 2022 essentially, because this is when most people pay attention, right? This is the first major tournament of the year, and it's the major tournament in a lot of eyes, and win a green jacket at the Masters. It's incredible.
You know what I'd like to know? What is the green jacket made of?
Like polyester? I don't know.
Wool?
That's what my
Cotton?
suit jackets are made out of.
Linen? Polyester?
I think so. They're cheap.
Where'd you get them?
I got them. Well, one I got Macy's clearance, which is pretty nice.
Okay.
The other one I got at Penny's.
Okay.
Back when people still went to Penny's, like 2010.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't you get? It was Penny's where you got your best suit, right?
Yeah. I have 2 suit jackets and a suit, and they're all 10+ years old because all my friends are married at this point. Like I don't have a lot of reason to wear a suit.
My funeral.
Yeah, last year I could have worn it at your funeral. Because I would have had to give the eulogy because I'm your best friend. So
yeah, no, that's unlikely.
I did think about that, like of the things that I would say.
Would you have been able to get through the eulogy as choked up as you'd have been?
Yeah, I don't think I've really thought about it that deeply.
Would you have been more if I had passed from that heart attack? Would you be more devastated at the end of my life or the end of your career?
Well, it wouldn't have been the end of my career. Would have cost me some dough because I had to spend money to get an LLC and build a website for the show and do all this stuff that you never did. So this show only exists because of my sweat and hard work. So I'd lose all that if you croaked.
If I croaked.
But my career, I think I've shown, would be fine because I've done so many individual things without you where people have just been like, we don't really want the query portion of it. We just want the Schultz portion.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
That's all.
Too bad when you hear the name Query and Schultz, you got to get through the query to get to the Schultz, right?
It was in alphabetical order,
Uh-huh.
and that's how it happened. People ask me that often. Like, who's the number 1 host? Who's the number 2? Well, it's 1A and 1B, and it's alphabetical order.
Okay.
That's what Buzz said.
Okay. Hit records.
Well,
it is
his
time
office smelled, so I don't know what he was consuming at that time.
It's time for Love That Play, brought to you by the good guys at Love Heating and Air. Love Heating and Air Conditioning has been around in Indianapolis over now 100 years. 4th generation, and how do you last that long for a family business? Well, I'll tell you how, because oftentimes with a family business, by the time you get to like the 3rd generation, things start to slide. Not with Love Heating and Air, because not only are they great guys, and I've known them my whole life, but they have a commitment to customer service. They have great product, great prices, and 24-hour on-call maintenance. Love-HVAC.com is the website, love-HVAC.com, 317-353-2141 for Love Heating and Air. Our Love That Play this week is, Derek?
I thought it was one of the best moments of the Masters, mostly because Scheffler was such in control. There weren't a lot of great moments, but Rory holing out on 18 to briefly put a little bit of pressure. I mean, at that point, Scheffler was still up 3 strokes.
Right.
But at least, he's got 6 holes to play. We've seen guys self-combust before, and that certainly, I guess, could have happened. But just the emotion of McIlroy. He's a guy that kind of burst onto the scene 10 years ago, and while he's had a nice career, I think there was some thought that he was going to become like the next big thing and the next Tiger, and he never really got there, at least never sustained it.
What is so interesting to me, Derek, about golf in general is the number of guys that when they come onto the scene, and this is a real testament to Tiger Woods, so many guys burst onto the scene, you're like, oh my goodness, like this guy's going to be a household name. And they are for a while, and then they kind of fade. Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, David Duval going further back. I mean, there always seem to be guys for a while there, Brooks Koepka, Patrick Reed, Bubba Watson. There are guys that have this rise, come onto the scene, and then, they have nice careers and they stay towards the top. But in terms of being the absolute slam dunk for a while, dominating number one, Phil Mickelson has done it as well. But it does seem kind of like a rotation. I mean, it's hard to stay up.
Yeah, I mean, we're 5 years removed from Spieth's last major.
Isn't that amazing?
And he still has a long career. I mean, these guys have long. It's not like the NBA where your window's like 8 years. And we are, I think, 8 years removed from Rory's win. I think that was, did he win the British in 2014?
I may be right.
I think that's where we are with Rory. Now, he has been on the doorstep. I think he's finished second in like four or five different Masters. So Rory's been knocking on the door. I think the Masters is the only one that he hasn't won. But still, it was easily the play of the week. I thought the hole in, the crowd reaction, his reaction. It was one of the memorable moments of a not so memorable Masters tournament.
I'm a big fan of this can.
We'll come back with
Vine
quick hits. Please just don't touch any more of the props.
What do you
just
mean?
pretend like they're bolted to the desk. Do not touch any more of them. Our Stuart Tire quick hits. We still have Hoagies and Hops hoagies to eat.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got Biter Bowl Bleep still to get to
Don't
as well.
go spilling stuff.
It's Query and Schultz. Episode 81 on Comcast 81. ISC Sports Network and YouTube. Back with more next.
Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is good.
There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
Wrestler!
Wrestler!
Whoa! Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Podcast, Twitter, Facebook, however you are absorbing us. Thank you for absorbing us today. Yeah, I like to think
TikTok?
of that. That's the word. Well, you can't watch the show on TikTok. Should we go on Twitch? Maybe we should do Twitch.
Nobody does that anymore.
People still do Twitch.
What about the
Caleb really wants us to get on Twitch.
Okay. What was the big one there for like 20 minutes that everybody was doing? Periscope?
Yeah, Periscope was Twitter's live video thing.
Yeah.
Clubhouse. Do you remember during the pandemic, people were like, You should do Clubhouse. It's audio-only chat rooms, but you have to be invited by somebody to get into Clubhouse.
That's right.
And like all these people out in California were doing it.
Who was it?
I got invited to Clubhouse, so I joined it, and then I was like, what is this?
Somebody asked me to join it, and I'm like, no thanks.
Twitter has
I'm not
spaces.
going to a Clubhouse unless there's honeycomb cereal there.
Twitter has spaces now where it's kind of like that, where it's just like this audio thing. And I think there's actually something good. You can just listen in, or you can be part of the conversation. I do think there's a place for it. I just think like this idea like, oh, bro, it's going to take off. Like, you got to get in the Clubhouse now. Like, it's super exclusive.
Is that where you talk about your clout score?
I think so. Well, clout. God, remember that? That was a thing for like 5 minutes in 2013. Indy 500 right around the corner. It's weird to think that we're that close. We were talking about it during the American Dairy Association Indiana Winners Drink Milk segment. But our friend Darren King, and we know many people like this, especially you, Jake, because you work for IndyCar, that live and die Indy 500
Absolutely.
and every moment of that and the countdowns. And Darren's even got the countdowns going right now on Facebook, 57 days, whatever it is from when we tape this on Monday. Probably the biggest Indy 500 fan I know. But the other thing that he's passionate about is servicing your car and making sure that you get a good price and honest service, and you can get that at Stewart Tire and Auto.
I mean, honesty and price are huge. Listen, Darren King and his wife have turned Stewart Tire down on the south side, Stop 13 Road, into a family business because Darren was working there and then decided, you know what, I think I want to take the next step into ownership. He and his wife pooled the money together, bought the business, and they want to make sure that it's a business for the whole family of Indianapolis. That's what I love about it, Derek, because they are not only doing great work on your automobile, but they are committed to doing it with great customer service, fairness, and great prices. That's what you get. Amber, our friend Amber went down there, had
I love
great
Amber.
success. So
she thinks that I'm more attractive than you.
Okay.
It's just part of the reason that I like it.
I don't think that's true.
Well, she said it.
No, she Derek, I think a lot of women think you're cute.
No, I
They
mean,
say,
I
like,
don't
he's
disagree with
cute.
that statement. I do think that there are a lot of women that find me sexy.
They find you sexy because of your unawareness of your own diminutive shortcomings.
I think
And they find that endearing.
I think they find me sexy for my long comings.
Okay.
Is that gross? Sorry.
I mean, like,
Is that a little gross?
like your facial hair?
No, just all
Chest
the
hair?
all of the attributes. Like, you kind of see it here. Like, it's just it's a nice package to look at. Like, that's why I was really excited about this being a TV show, because for so long, you know, people would message me and be like, your voice sounds amazing. Like, what do you look like? It can't possibly be as good as the voice. And I said, just wait. Just
Well,
wait.
Guess what?
And here we are.
And they're still listening to
And
this
now
in
they're
audio
saying,
form.
oh, my God, you were right.
Yeah, okay.
But, you know, happily married. I've been with Ashley for a long, long time. But it is nice to have that adulation and all of that. You know, it's nice to have fans.
Our
Let's
quick
put
hits?
it that way. Yeah, sorry. Let's get to our quick hits. By the way, Stop 13 Road, just north of Greenwood Park Mall for Stewart Tire and Auto. You can follow them on Facebook at Stewart Tire. Quick hit number one, the Colts made a signing since we last spoke.
Derek, I will say this. There are two positions in football that I have always felt are really important to have just kind of like a leadership, almost veteran mentor type ability. Obviously, linebacker would be one, but you got to have some youth and athleticism there. Safety is one of them.
Yep.
Quarterback is one. Safety is one of them. Safety is a place that I think it's always good to have a guy that has experience, that's been around. Maybe isn't like knock your socks off, but I think the Colts have found a guy here that is very stable and has a lot of experience underneath.
Yeah, a respected veteran, Rodney McLeod. He's been in the league for 10 years, 6 with Philly, won a Super Bowl ring on the same team with Frank Reich in whatever year that was that, 2017? It's hard to believe that it had been that long.
It's hard to believe the Eagles won a Super Bowl. But yeah.
I know. It is kind of weird to think about. Spent 3 previous years before that with the Rams and fills out the 2 deep. So now you've got Kari Willis. You've got Julian Blackman. You've got another signing, Armani Watts, who is going to fill that George Odom special team / kind of spot role there in safety. So at the very least, the Colts feel like they've got 4 guys that they like there, whereas at some positions they barely have 1, if they even have that, because they're like 20 guys short. I mean, they have to have enough bodies to do like OTAs and stuff. They can't fill all of this in the draft. Quick at number 2, Frank Vogel, done with the Lakers, no surprise.
Good coach, really good guy.
Knew he'd be scapegoated, right?
Got a ring there. You knew it was a matter of time.
33-49. They missed the play-in round, finished 11th in the West.
You know, he can spin a basketball on a toothbrush while brushing his
Yeah.
teeth.
David Letterman's stupid human tricks,
That's
right? Signed a 1-year extension before this offseason, so he's going to get paid to go away, which is nice. A nice problem to have. And he'll be fine. These guys get hired and fired all the time. So Vogel will be fine. He'll land somewhere else. Quick at number 3 in a viral TikTok video. I'm on TikTok now at Schultz Derek. So you can click and follow me. All the great videos that I'm going to put up there. I've put up 2 so far, and they've both been great. One of them only got 3 plays.
What was that?
It was my son talking about how he's going to root for the Yankees and not the Red Sox. Excuse me.
But
I only have like 15 followers because I just joined TikTok.
Okay.
And I don't know a bunch of
hoping to meet a bunch of high school kids?
19-year-olds. So there aren't a lot of people to follow me on TikTok.
Okay.
Like, Facebook, you've got a bunch of old people to follow you, and Twitter, you've got a bunch of people, but TikTok's not really the audience that this show reaches.
Okay.
So, but anyway, a soon-to-be dad under fire for how he reacted during your favorite gender reveal party.
These things should all be banned.
Hannah,
stop the madness.
Who is the expected mom, threw a ball to her boyfriend, Travis, during this gender reveal party. Travis plays baseball for the University of New Orleans, so he had his bros there with him from the UNO baseball team. And he hits the ball. It's blue mist, so they're having a boy. But instead of running to the person that he's procreating this human with, he ran to his baseball bros.
What was his name again?
And embrace him. Travis.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so Travis is catching a lot of hell.
It's a shock.
And a lot of people are telling Hannah, hey, you're not married to this person, so why don't you stay unmarried to this person? Because he wanted to celebrate with his bros.
I can't believe Travis, man. He just completely blew that off. Doesn't that sound like Travis?
I just think gender reveal parties, man.
Totally over.
I am one of those people, like, do what you want. Name your kid what you want. Like,
it's so over the top.
I don't really
Didn't
care
they,
that much.
burn down half of Nevada like 2 years ago?
Gender
based on
reveal
one
parties are really stupid, and they're just a way to get squeeze
me,
another
me,
gift out of everybody,
yeah,
right?
You're right.
You got a baby shower, just use that.
Tell me.
It's the end of our quick hits.
Okay.
Stuart Tire and Auto. Thanks so much
get to the sandwich.
to Darren and company for making that happen for us. Well, we're going to get to the sandwich last time. Don't eat it yet. We're not to the sandwich yet. You're supposed to just leave that over there.
We're going to stop.
We have the Hoagies and Hops sandwich coming after the WGU Indiana Sage Move of the Week. So let's do our Sage Move of the Week, brought to you by our friends at WGU Indiana. Jake, you're continuing your education because you're 50 and you never finished originally. My wife got her certification with WGU Indiana, and you can take classes on your own time and either get a degree to further your career, or maybe you're like Jake and you decided, hey, you know what? I slacked around in my 20s. I got incredibly lucky. People kept hiring me for stuff for some reason, even though I didn't have a degree, and I just want to go back to say that I have it.
That is correct. WGU Indiana is the largest online accredited university. And, of course, as Derek had mentioned, you can go back to school on your own time because ambition never rests. Whether you're looking for a certification for a job or you're looking for the very first time at pursuing a college degree, maybe, as Derek had mentioned, you were like me, one of 700,000 Hoosiers who had college credits, which do not expire, by the way, and you just simply wanted to go back to complete a goal. WGU.edu/Indiana. WGU, again, brings us our Sage Move of the Week because Sage the Owl is their mascot, because ambition never rests, and they always have their eyes on what it is they need.
I think 2 good moves that this program made, this athletic program made. We talked about one last week in Thad Matta, but the second one happened just a couple of days ago. Congratulations to Butler and Austin Parkinson, who is now going to be their head women's coach.
You had a good tweet about that, Derek, what that means.
Because now you've got Morin, who we just talked about at IU. You've got Katie Geralds is going to do a fantastic job at Purdue. Just wait.
And Parkinson's been great so far.
Parkinson has been unbelievable at IUPUI. He inherited a 3-win program. He had him winning a 20 spot in year 3.
20 spot.
Yeah, 20 spot in year 3. Would have had multiple NCAA tournament appearances, except when they won the Horizon League in 2020. Remember, we went to that game, the championship game. COVID happened, and everything got bagged. But 2-time league winner, 3-time league coach of the year, once with the Summit League, twice in the Horizon League, 12-year stay at IUPUI. And I think he'll do a great job with the Butler women, who are coming off a 1-win season.
Yeah,
Big East is tough.
It is.
Not just for the men's basketball team. That was a step up across the board. It's our WGU Sage Move of the Week. Yes, we're going to do the sandwiches. Hoagies and Hops Hero of the Week and Hoagie of the Week, plus Chateau Kitchen's Biter Bowl Bleep, and we will wrap up the
Biter
show.
Bowl Schultz.
Biter Bowl Bleep, yeah.
It's Bowl Schultz.
Wrap up Corey and Schultz. Next, here on ISC Sports Network.
I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching. Barn needs cleaning. Tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do. From Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Network, episode 81. We'd love to thank again our sponsors for making it all possible. Presenting sponsor of this program is Bailey & Wood. That's BAWFG.com is their website for locally owned and operated mortgage rates. Also, Stewart Tire and Automotive. We talked about them on Stop 13 Road. Chateau Kitchens, who we will get to. Lou Malnati's, the best pizza that you're going to find in central Indiana, now with soon to be four locations for the taste of Chicago that you've come to know and love. DeBrand Fine Chocolates, with Mother's Day coming up, Valentine's Day coming up. Don't forget DeBrand Fine Chocolates right there in River Crossing, directly across from the Fashion Mall. Love Heating and Air Conditioning, love-hvac.com, 317-353-2141, and the American Dairy Association of Indiana, Winners Drink Milk. Also, Derek, those that are on board with us, Hoagies and Hops, and I love it because this sandwich, I'm already done with it.
Hoagie of the week. Jay couldn't even wait. Again, from our friends at Hoagies and Hops, 42nd and Boulevard in Midtown,
By the
Butler,
way,
Tarkington area.
WGU, Indiana as well.
And today we have the Keystone. As you know, Pennsylvania, Keystone State. So it's not named after Keystone Avenue, even though, I don't know, I guess you can use that as well. It is Indianapolis. London broil. Did your mom ever make London broil? Mm-hmm. My mom used to make that. Delicious. It's like top round. Very, very good. Provolone, the house horseradish on this bad boy is amazing. I could drink their dill sauce and their house horseradish. I could basically drink all the sauces that they make at Hoagies.
You know, if you eat London broil, you have to talk like you're from London.
Lettuce, tomato, oil as well. And the bread shipped in from South Jersey.
Talk like you're from London once you eat it. Let's hear your accent.
Top of the morning to you. It's a good sandwich. Gollywhacker.
Not. You have no accent.
Gollywhacker. What's the saving? What's the saying that they have there?
The sandwich is fantastic. It's a cracker of a sandwich.
A cracker of a sandwich?
Yeah.
I don't think I can even do. This is really good London, bro. I don't even think that I can do an English accent. Hello, governor.
Yeah, that's not
like
bad.
That?
Yeah, there you go.
Is that bad?
Mm-hmm. I can't believe I left my house without a raincoat.
So it's like a roast beef, essentially, but with the horseradish mayo. If you're a roast beef sandwich fan,
don't eat with your mouth full, Derek. It's terribly rude.
You got to level up and get this at Hoagies and Hops because the Keystone is a level up from your common roast beef sandwich. Our hero of the week, and I wanted to get this on the show. I know it's weird to choose somebody who just tragically passed as a hero of the week, but just wanted to acknowledge the tragedy of Dwayne Haskins and getting hit by a car over the weekend. Just a horrible accident and 24 years old.
And, you know, Derek, one thing about Dwayne Haskins.
Terrible.
You know, this is a guy that was drafted by the Washington Commanders, had an unbelievable season at Ohio State. I mean, his
record. 2018 is one of the greatest individual seasons in Big Ten history.
Correct. And, you know, and I realize that maybe sometimes people get, understandably and rightly so, talked up a lot posthumously, but everything I've read about Dwayne Haskins from his teammates and guys around him, just a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
Worked hard, good sense of humor. As a matter of fact, last night, interestingly enough, I was coming back from Los Angeles, and I was talking to a woman in the airport who was from Indianapolis who used to work for USA Football. And she said, I haven't stopped all day thinking about Dwayne Haskins of the Steelers. And I said, why is that? Obviously knowing that he'd passed. And she said, well, when he played on the USA Football team for a year. He was like a 19 and under team, along with Jonathan Taylor was on that team. And she said, so many of those parents were so overbearing, but Dwayne Haskins' mother was the nicest, team mom, just rooted for everybody, nice as could be, totally accommodating, grateful, appreciative. And she's like, and so I just really hope she's doing okay. But you got to figure if Dwayne Haskins' mother was that way, he probably was as well.
Yeah, and remember, for so long, just talking about him on the field, for so long, Ohio State was kind of like 4 yards in a cloud of dust in Big Ten football.
Man,
you don't think of the Big Ten being what it became until Haskins came and threw 50 tuds and 5,000 yards, and you're like, oh my God.
How well prepared and how good was he heading in to taking snaps at Ohio State? He beat out Joe Burrow.
Yeah. But
right?
I mean, and you see,
and I know Joe Burrow was hurt, but he beat out Joe
Haskins
Burrow.
into Justin Fields, and now you've got this wide open video game type offense that you've been able to put together. And a lot of Big Ten offenses are able to do that now. But still, to see born 1997,
I know,
and think that person is no longer with us. I mean, how you're not even
Hadn't
24
even
years old, Jake. You're not even starting your life really. It's just insanely sad. I'm not even going to get into Gil Brandt and Adam Schefter and all the cringeworthy tweets about it over the weekend because it's not even worth spending time
People
on
don't
that.
think.
But wanted to acknowledge Dwayne Haskins. Paris Campbell and Terry McLaurin all had really nice things to say about their former quarterback, and you mentioned it. All of his teammates seem to love the guy. And it's too bad that his NFL career didn't seem to be working out. But at the end of the day, a 24-year-old lost his life. Who cares?
Right.
And that's why I think some of those tweets were so insensitive about, Schefter struggling to catch on. I'm like, guy just got hit by a truck, for God's sake. Take a breath.
Right.
Just awful. Bite or Bull Bleep.
Okay.
Brought to you by our friends.
If I think it's Bull Schultz, I get to hit you with a tomato.
At Chateau Kitchens. Chateau's at my house right now.
Buy it. I just buy it. Bull Schultz.
You know what they're doing today? Chateau's at my house right now while we're taping this, as we speak.
Putting in a third shower head.
No, what would you need a third shower head?
I don't know. You got two of them.
Yeah, but what would you need a third one for?
I don't know.
They're tiling the shower.
Okay.
Tile guys are there all this week.
Okay.
It's real meticulous. You got to space out the tiles perfectly, and then you saw them up, and then you do the grout
In
stuff.
Alabama, do you know what somebody uses to dry themselves in the shower?
Towel. Yeah, no,
right.
I actually did know that one, yes. That's one joke that I actually did get. ChateauKitchens.com, Instagram at Chateau Kitchens, Facebook at Chateau
TikTok?
Kitchens. I don't think they're on TikTok. Before and after
If
pictures.
it's Bull Schultz.
Gorgeous products and gorgeous results. Sorry. Jake is about to throw products at my face. That's why I said products. But gorgeous results from any of your renovation
You want to
project,
stuff your face with Bloom all night
projects
tomatoes.
with Chateau Kitchens.
Don't kid yourself.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So call Steven and his crew today to take care of you. Ryan's my project manager. That dude is amazing. The Reds should always be the first game of the Major League Baseball season. And
Buy it, 100% buy it. First ever team, tradition, opening day. As George Carlin said, they were the first ever team in Major League Baseball. Who did they play? But yes, they should be.
Is there a reason they stopped doing that?
I don't know. Remember that one year they had?
If the Reds had their way, I would think that the Reds would always.
The
want
one
to be
year
the
they
first
opened
game.
the season with Seattle and Oakland and Japan.
Yeah. But I mean, did Major League Baseball come and say, you're not going to be – because the Reds weren't even at home to open up this season, right?
Can you juggle?
The Reds were on the road, I think.
That's not really juggling.
Were they playing Milwaukee? Who are they playing?
Huh?
Who are the Reds playing? You're a Reds fan. Who are they playing?
Braves.
Okay. I didn't care because we were obsessed with Red Sox Yankees in our house.
They won the series to the Braves.
But, yeah, I'm super bummed that they're not allowed to start the season because that was a cool quirk to have the Reds do that, and it was special for the Cincinnati community.
Get the one that's Bull Schultz so I can hit you with a
now
tomato.
It's gone away. Okay, how about this one? The Pacers would be a playoff team next year. Buy it or bull?
I buy that too.
In the playoff field.
Yep.
Top 6.
Yep.
Top 6 playoff field.
Buy it. Bullish.
Not the play-in. Top 6 playoff field.
I don't think they're that far off. Largely dependent on health.
Well, yeah, it's always dependent on health, but with like Brogdon and those guys, you never really know what you're going to get. I'm going to say Bull Bleep. I think they could play themselves in, but this is a tough time to rebuild in the East because the East is a lot deeper than it was 7, 8, 10 years ago, where basically you had 5 or 6 teams and everybody else sucked. In the East this year, you don't really have that. You've got 10 teams that are over 500. Cleveland's got a nice young core. Atlanta's got a nice young core.
Brooklyn could be broken up here, Derek.
Brooklyn. Chicago's a really good team.
But Brooklyn could be broken
Toronto's always good. Philly's always good. Milwaukee's got Giannis. Boston's always good.
But Boston
Miami's always good.
Boston could be blown up. I'm just telling you.
Bull Bleep. Pacers, I don't think the Pacers will be in the playoff field next year.
Bull Bleep.
I think they could.
I told you.
That actually hit me at a speed that is unacceptable.
I told you.
So if you want to soft toss and kind of ha ho ho, like that's fine. But if you're gonna whiz one of those at my face again, you're in for some severe consequences.
What should be
I'm just letting you know.
What consequences can you lay
We're at the end
down?
of the show. We carpooled today. You're my best friend. I'm driving you home. I'm just letting you know.
I'd like to know what consequences.
I'm drawing the line in the sand right now.
Okay.
So keep yourself from this side of the fence here.
Okay.
This line in the sand. Okay?
Okay.
All right, last statement. Bite or Bull Bleep. We're almost there. We're almost to the finish line. We can get there.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm waiting.
Easter candy is better than Halloween candy. Bite or Bull Bleep. So we're talking what? Like, chocolate bunnies, like our friends at DeBran, cream eggs. Those robin eggs, those like Whopper egg things.
I so badly want to throw one of these at you. But
what would be Halloween? Halloween would be candy corn, those pumpkin things.
I mean, Halloween's anything.
But
DeBran.
Reese's pumpkins as well.
I mean, Derek.
Yeah. I mean, how can you go against like the really?
I know.
Especially when you're talking like the.
I want to make very clear here, very clear, explicitly clear, that Easter candy in itself already, because you get the advantage of the jelly beans, jelly belly type thing, the little plastic eggs. It clearly is superior. Now, there's versatility and diversity among Halloween candy, but Halloween candy and chocolate is mostly imposter. Real high-quality chocolate is the kind like you find at the brand Fine Chocolates from Lori and Bill over in River Crossing. Therefore, there's no question that Easter candy is, in fact, superior to Halloween candy. Thus, to say that statement, I do, in fact, buy it, which is a little bit disappointing because had it been Bull Schultz, we'd have gone nonstop. Okay.
Thanks to our sponsors today. And we'll be back next week.
Will we?
Trayce Schultz on ISC Sports Network.
Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is caught.
There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Lynn's way.
Wrestler!
Wrestler!
Whoa! Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of